Someone says, where do you work? I say, I work at auDA. They say, what's that? I say, well, it's .au domain administration. I say, what's that? Makes no sense. So auDA is an organisation where a not-for-profit independent organisation, we license and regulate Australia's part of the internet. In the simplest possible terms, that's largely what we do. So, as I say, we are not-for-profit, we're self-funded. At a fundamental level, we work with stakeholders to administer and regulate the .au country code domain. Our vision, our reason for getting up in the morning is we want to unlock the social and economic benefits of the internet. We want more Australians online, we want more businesses engaging online, and we want people and businesses prospering because of the internet. We want to acknowledge the good work it does and emphasise that to all. At a very fundamental, at an operational level, we operate the domain name system. The .au DNS is a part of critical national infrastructure. It allows the internet to work as we know it, which I'll talk about a bit more. We administer a licensing regime for the .au country code domain. So if you set up a website, a .au website, you buy that site off a registrar. The registrar has to meet our privacy and security and the rules for those domains in order to sell those to you. So that's a critical role. And we do a lot of work in terms of ensuring the domain remains secure as well. And thirdly, we advocate for and participate in multi-stakeholder internet governance. And this is a really fascinating thing. The internet is truly governed by consensus. As much as some people would think Facebook runs it or Microsoft runs it, it's actually run by consensus. It's organisations like auDA and our international equivalents, it's registrars, people who sell domains, it's governments, it's academics who work in a consensual, work through consensus to actually deliver outcomes for the internet. Security outcomes, accessibility outcomes, and auDA was really passionate about preserving that model and ensuring that, again, all Australians can benefit from an open, free, secure and global internet. So the domain name system, the DNS is the phone book of the internet. And this is fundamental, as we say, it allows the internet to work in a way that we want it to. So that, you can see there, our website, auda.org.au. That IP address is the IP address for our website. Quite simply, the DNS is something that all of us use an average of 100 to 120 times a day. Every time we put an email address in, every time we go to a website, every time we use an app on our phone, the DNS allows us to take the URL you put into your phone, your tablet, your computer, takes it to the server where that website is hosted. 70,000 inquiries per second go through the .au DNS, which amounts to about 6 billion inquiries per day. It's an incredible bit of infrastructure that is fundamental to how the internet operates. Without it, we could still use the web, we could still surf, but we'd be entering IP addresses individually in order to do that. So an IP address can have up to 39 characters. We'd be entering those characters to find that website. So again, startupcv.com.au has an IP address which we'd have to enter to find that domain. And that's the power of the DNS that allows the internet to work as we use it. As you can see, there are 6 different namespaces within the .au. Why should you choose a .au website? That's what we do focus on. It is uniquely Australian. The .au is a critical national asset. It is Australian. It signifies that your business is Australian. Search engine optimisation, this is an obvious one. If you're looking for, I met Cameron who mentioned his website in terms of cars. If you put, forgive me for getting this wrong, Cameron, muscle cars in Google, it'll take you to a .au website. It's not going to take you to a website with a .nz on the end of it, or a .ca for Canada, or a .id for Indonesia. So a search engine optimisation is critical benefit of having a .au website. And most importantly, I think so anyway, from a security point of view, 0.03% of .au websites are found to be potentially fraudulent at any one time. auDA employs a 14-person compliance team which works tirelessly, you ask them, they'll tell you, to ensure the .au is secure and safe as possible. We run a lot of scripts, we run bots to identify potentially fraudulent websites. If a website is registered that is potentially meant to confuse you, such as Westpat instead of Westpac, we take it down immediately. We identify it and it's removed immediately. Another example is a lot of small business websites are subject to DNS abuse. We run audits of websites to identify those that are potentially susceptible, and we will contact you and tell you your website is potentially susceptible to DNS abuse. You need to either run a patch on your security system, you might need to update your content management system. And that's part of what we do to ensure the .au remains safe. And I just make the comparison, global top-level domains, .com, .biz, just .net, generally around 0.25% of those are fraudulent at any one time, which is always worth considering if you're buying something online and the deal looks too good to be true. When you buy a .au domain, you buy that from a registrar. There are 33 accredited registrars you can buy a .au domain from. You know, and I'm sure GoDaddy, Web Central, Venture IP, those sorts of guys. But the registrars, in order to sell you that, they must be accredited by us in order to sell that to you. They must meet our technical and financial requirements, which means they must be secure in terms of storing your data. When you do register a .au domain, you do enter a license agreement with auDA. So if you have a .au domain, you have entered into a license agreement with our organisation. There are just over 4.2 million .au domains at the moment. We don't share your details, we don't sell it to anyone else, but we do have those details in case we need to contact you if your website does become vulnerable from a cybersecurity perspective. The eligibility requirements are different for each of the different namespaces, but they are strictly enforced, and that is again one of the reasons why the .au is quite safe and secure. You must have an ABN, for example, if you have a .com.au or a .net.au website. A .org.au website is only available to not-for-profits, for example. The newest namespace, .au Direct, launched last year. Again, that is something that's open to anyone. You don't need a business for that if you wanted to create that domain or create a website with that domain. I did just want to talk a bit about advocacy, the work that we do. As I say, the internet is run through consensus, and it is such a powerful thing because there is literally one internet in the world. How many people here have an iPhone? How many people have an Android phone? There's a few. But we're all together though, which is good. The key thing is there is one internet. If I'm an app developer, I need to develop an app that sits on the iPhone store, and another one for the Android store. Going back a few years, the software developers still had to create two sets of software, one for a PC and one for a Mac. There is literally one internet. So if I'm going to startupcv.com.au, it doesn't matter which browser I'm using, if I'm using Chrome, Safari, Firefox, whatever. Anywhere in the world, I can access that one website. And that's something that's really powerful and unique about the internet, and that we do work really hard to protect. And I do want to stress that not every country shares Australia's view that we should have one internet. So we do work with .au members, which I'll talk about shortly. We work with registrars, registrants, the people who own the domains. There's 2.3 million domain owners, I think, in Australia at the moment, give or take. We do work closely with government. We engage the Australian Signals Directorate to make sure the .au is secure, and we're aware of emerging threats. We work with a lot of industry groups and associations to engage and talk about the .au, people such as Startup Central Vic and the Committee for Maryborough. And we do also go to a lot of technical associations, talking about the internet, talking about that consensus model that we do have. Australian Computer Society, the Australian Information Security Association, for example. So, it would be remiss of me if I didn't mention .au membership. And it's free. It's not my full sales pitch, but it is free. So a lot of people do say, why does auDA have members? Because it is free, but members are our critical stakeholder group. Members are the first port of call when we do consult with industry about changes to the new namespace, introduction of a new namespace, for example, changes to the rules. I mentioned .au Direct, which is our newest namespace. It was a 3-year consultation process with members about whether we should do it, firstly, and then how should we implement that to the industry in the fairest way possible. So our members are critical in terms of supporting an open, free, secure and global internet, but you are also our critical stakeholders in terms of shaping the future of the internet in Australia. There are a few benefits. Again, first and foremost, let's be altruistic. You do have a voice in the future of the internet in Australia. You do get access to invitations, business networking events, webinars, these sorts of you do receive offers from some of our affiliate partners, Jacob, a cybersecurity partner, an online education provider are two examples. But you do get a lot, we do produce a lot of resources that are for people that own websites, that own businesses that have websites, and this is where there is a lot of value. We do an enormous amount of research into how businesses are engaging online, and again, we make that available to our members. So if you want, resources such as, how to register a domain, how to transfer a domain to another registrar, how to redirect my domain to another URL address. These sorts of resources are available to you on our website. So if you do have a small business website, if you are interested in the internet, I very much do encourage you to join auDA. It is free, if I didn't mention that already. But again, it is an opportunity to contribute to an open, free, secure and global internet in Australia.